What's going on, everybody? So, we got a vehicle here that every year or so, every 2 years, got to change the battery in it. Anyways, it's kind of been an ongoing situation. Long story short, if I leave the vehicle for 3, 4, or 5 days, chances are I need to boost it. So, I have a draw. It's called a parasitic draw. It means a module or something in the vehicle is staying on and it's draining the battery over those 3 to 4 or 5 days. So if you have a vehicle that doesn't get driven a whole lot, so you say you work from home or something like that, you didn't go out for 2, 3 days, you come out, your car's dead, chances are there's something on in the vehicle that's not allowing everything to go to sleep 100%. So it's taking a little bit of voltage or amperage or whatever you want to call it, a little bit of a draw, and it's causing the battery to go dead in that time. Now, ideal draw is 0.03 millivolts. So on this vehicle here, we have 0.07, and we want 0.03 or under 0.05. So ideal is 0.05 or lower. So on the high side we want 0.05. On the low side or lowest side we want to be down closer to 3. So long story short, I just went over the vehicle and checked everything. I have a 2010, it's a Mazda 3, has a 2-liter in it. It's equipped with a remote start. Not all vehicles are going to have the same problem with a remote start. It could be an actual module in the vehicle, but a lot of the time the aftermarket parts that are put onto the vehicle are the ones that are going to cause the most issue. So long story short, we did a parasitic draw test, and I'll show you how I come down to concluding it was this. I disconnected the module and got back within spec, so deemed it was the remote start on this particular vehicle. Now, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit like to make sure to help me out, and turn on your notifications. We'll see you guys next time. So stay tuned, we'll show you how to do this, and enjoy. Hope you get your problem solved as well, or hope this helps you out solve your problem. Okay, here we go. Alright, so first things first, we're going to want to disconnect our negative battery terminal. So right up here we got this disconnected, so that's normally down there. Okay, now we're just going to kind of get it out of the way. Your cable might be slightly different than mine, but you want to disconnect it. Then you're going to need a digital volt ohm meter, DVOM. And on this one here, we want to set it over to 10 amps. So you want to put it on your 10 amp circuit. You're going to want to go down here and say down here on this one, we have a spot where we can put our red lead on 10 amps. And then you want to put it on COM. So it's like common ground, it's the ground. Okay, so then after you get this situated here so you can still see it without a glare. Next off, we're going to go up here. We're going to put our red wire down on the battery, on the negative side of the battery. Then, where's our other one? Okay, here's our black test lead. We're going to hook it to the negative side. Now you might see a few sparks. I'll see if I can't see there's a bit of sparking there. That means there's power actually going through everything. You want this on your 10 amp circuit because there's going to be that high draw because it just woke up all the modules in the vehicle. Now we have to wait for everything to go to sleep. So now everything's starting to go to sleep. So we're down at 0.08. Now here, like I was saying before, you want 0.03 is ideal, or 0.05, or, oh, great, I got my timer. So we're going to disconnect the negative. I'm going to disconnect this for a minute. We're going to turn it back on. So if you have a meter that goes to sleep, you might have to reset it as I did. Okay, so now we have to let everything go to sleep again. So right now, we're pretty high. So, you want to make sure your meter's not going to fall asleep on you and you got a good battery in it, because it's going to take a few minutes. Could take you longer than other times. Small pair of needle nose, or you're going to want the little fuse tool, because we're going to start pulling fuses. So we're going to get this situated here. That works there. Okay, you can see the numbers. Okay, so we're down here. We're doing our drop test. Now, pretty much every module in the vehicle right now is asleep. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start pulling out fuses. I already went through all of them, so I know where I'm going, but this is just an example. So we're going to take a picture of your fuse box so you don't get your fuses mixed up. That'd be a good step to do in case you have more than one fuse out. Then you know exactly where everything goes. You don't have to refer back to a chart. You can just look at your picture really quick and you know exactly where everything goes. So we're going to start with our first fuse. Well, let's start down with the little mini fuses. So we're just going to go and pull out, say the first one, we're going to go in rows, up and down or whatever through it. So we're going to pull it out. We're going to wait 10 seconds. You count to 10, and then you're going to watch your meter. See if this here drops. We're looking to have this 7 turn into like a 4 or 3 or anything under 5. So we're going to try and cut power from the actual circuit that's taking the power. So we're going to go through all these fuses. Then you also have your larger fuses. We're going to pull these ones out. And then if all of this here doesn't work, chances are you're going to have to go down into the vehicle, because there might be something in the vehicle that's causing the draw as well. So there's another fuse box or 2 or 3 fuse boxes depending on which type of vehicle you have. Could be one in the trunk, there could be 2 underneath the hood, there could be 2 in the cabin, just depending on how many features you have in your vehicle. But in ideal, if you're not driving, like, see, this is a acceptable draw if you drive the vehicle every single day. But it's not ideal. It's not an ideal one. You want 5 or less. So 0.05 or less. That would be more ideal than having it this high, because this here is a draw that's putting a lot of strain on my battery. So I went through all these. We checked, and then we're going to check, say, one of the big ones. That one's not it. Now, where did I pull that? I pulled it out of here. Put that back. See, it woke up a module. So now we have to wait for the module to go back to sleep. It's almost there. There we go. As you see, I put the fuse back in. It woke a module up, or a system, or a computer, or something. And now it went back to sleep. So this one here, I believe, is the one that I'm having my problem with. So I pull that out. See that? It drops down to 0.03839, right around 0.04. So that's where my draw is coming from. Now, on the remote start, it's not supposed to take a whole lot. It's supposed to take maybe 1.2 millivolts or something, from what I understand. Now, watch this when I plug it back in. Wakes up. You gotta wait for it to go back to sleep. And it went back to sleep. So that's where our situation's going. Now, in order to figure out which system we're dealing with, I went to the owner's manual that has the chart, the fuse box chart. So we looked at it. Now we're going to read from, say, top, this side of the fuse box down. So I'm going to flip the book like this. And it's our number 21 fuse. So I'm going to go to number 21. Now you can find this information online as well if you don't have a book. So anyways, 21 is ignition key 1, 40 amp for protection of various circuits. So I know this vehicle is equipped with a remote start. So the first thing you can go and check the wiring diagram. I didn't quite have access to it right at this time. So my easiest thing to do was check the remote start. So I went in and I checked the remote start to see if I could get that back down to this number, 0.03839. So I wanted to see if I can get that number back down to there, because I believe this remote start's taking a little bit more draw than what it should, and which is causing me my problem. And it's also keeping awake other modules in the vehicle randomly. So it's every so often the electronic throttle body ends up not shutting down completely 100%. Okay, so let's go in the vehicle. We're gonna check out this remote start. We're gonna disconnect this here for now. And we'll go and we'll shut it off so we save battery. Just leave that there. Let's get in the vehicle. All right, this might be a little hard with the camera, but a lot of the remote starts in the vehicles, they're tucked up here underneath the dash. I'm gonna get this light situated. On this vehicle here, the remote start was tucked up in behind. I did one there the other day. They had the remote start way up in here, so I had to remove the dash panel out of the way to get at the remote start. So one quick and easy way to check your remote start is that there's a couple fuses. Normally they're 30 amp. We can pull these two fuses out and it's going to kill the system. Now it doesn't always work. I had one there the other day. I pulled the fuses out and I was still getting a draw. So then I had to disconnect the boxes. There's two. We're going to pull these fuses out. We'll go back to the battery and check to see what happens. So I just used my needle nose pliers. I took out the two fuses. I'm going to go and turn it back on 10 amp. And hook our wire back up. And we'll take our negative ground lead. Hook that back. So all the modules just woke up. Completed the power again. We gotta wait a few minutes here for things to go back down into specification. See, so we're down to 0.05 now. Now I think that's, to me, I feel that's still a little bit high. See if it'll shut down a few more modules there in a few more seconds and see what happens. Sometimes this takes 20 to 30 minutes to get your numbers to come down. So sometimes it's quite a lengthy process. So if you ever go to a mechanic and you're wondering, how come it's taking this guy so long? Well, he has to let your car go to sleep. Your car is on a timer. So the mechanic can only work as fast as the timer of the vehicle. Just keep that in mind sometimes. Sometimes it's a lot quicker, other times it's a lot slower. See? Okay, now another module just went to sleep. Now we're down to 0.038. Now I believe that would be more ideal on the situation so the battery does not consistently go dead. At this at the millivolts that are coming out of this, or milliamps or whatever, milliamps, the amperage that's coming out of this now, you should be able to leave your vehicle for approximately 30 days and still come back and start it up no problem. On the other hand, if it was 0.07, chances are you might get a week, maybe 2 weeks on a really good battery. If a battery's getting like a year or two old and it's been going through this same process over and over and over again, chances are you're only going to get 3 or 4 days. So if you don't drive your vehicle a whole lot, remote start is the reason why your vehicle keeps dying on you. So if it's not a necessity, I would disconnect a remote start unless you drive it every day. But most remote starts should still keep you under 0.05. Shouldn't be up to 0.07. So I believe there's something either going on with this remote start, or it needs to be reprogrammed or reset, or there could be an antenna issue or something like that. We're not going to get into that in this video. We're just diagnosing why I have a draw. So now we know that it's the remote start. So if I go and I put those fuses back in, it'll probably jump back up to 0.7. So that's what I'll go do right now. So that's another thing. You want to make sure all the lights and dome lights and stuff are in the off position on the vehicle when you open and close the door. That in some vehicles, the vehicle has to be locked for the computer to go to sleep. See, so we're starting to drop down. Now it didn't take this long last time to drop down when we initially started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this, let the power drain itself out of the system. We'll give it like 10 seconds. So we're not waiting here 20 minutes. Then we're going to go and hook it back up. And we should fall back into the sleep mode fairly quick now that the power was disconnected. Roughly 2 minutes there earlier, and it wasn't going to sleep. It was staying up and high in the number. So I disconnect this. I put the lead back on, and it went to sleep a lot quicker. Reason being is because when I put the fuses in, it woke everything up, and it was in like a run position. So it was waiting for a signal, or it was trying to think of like what's going on. Like, am I waiting for an action? It was looking for a signal, so it was staying alive, and it'd probably have a 10-15 minute timer through it or something like that. So this eliminates the process quite quick. So we're on the high side. It's quite the draw. I'm going to take the fuses back out again. We're going to watch the numbers just drop. So there, another module just fell asleep. So we're back down to kind of where we started there earlier. So I'll pull these fuses. Oh, from opening the door, it woke everything up. There might be a door jam switch that's in here. So when you actually open the door, it will cause everything to wake up. If it's not here, it's in your latch. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take a small screwdriver and I'm going to put it into the lock position. Put it all the way over. Now don't slam your door like that. You're going to have to pull the handle and pull this back out later on. Oh no, we can just go unlatch it and it'll come undone. We're going to put it in the lock position like the door is closed. Then we can leave the door open, or we can slightly close it so we can get by. Now everything's still awake. So we're going to disconnect this again. We're going to let everything go to sleep. It's going to draw itself out. Okay, give that about 10 seconds. Put it back on. Everything woke back up. Now we got to let it draw itself out. We'll give this a few more. Oh, there we go. Now everything went to sleep. So now it thinks the door is closed, and it's still open because we latched the door lock. Okay, so I'm gonna go pull out the fuse there again from underneath the dash. I can open and close the door. The numbers do not change because the door is open and the latch is locked. So we're going to pull number 1 fuse, pull number 2 fuse. Now what do we got here? So right there, it just dropped. It went from 0.8 to 0.5. There's probably still a little bit of power in the module. There we go. Now the power just dissipated. That's how you determine what parasitic draw is and how to find it. So you pull all your fuses, you watch your meter, give it 10 seconds between each fuse, and then if it wakes up a module, let the module go back to sleep. Sometimes it's, it could take up to 20 minutes, sometimes it's a couple seconds, just depending on vehicle. So hope this video helped you out. Make sure you hit that like button to help me out, because I just helped you out. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys all in the next one. Ciao for now.